Hi everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. First, I'd like to welcome you all to the Learn from the Leaders Green Cleaning in Schools webinar. We're excited you all could join us and hope that you enjoy this webinar. My name is Alex Scheibel, and I'm the Writer and Policy Analyst at Healthy Schools Campaign, which is the organization that's hosting today's webinar. We'll tell you a little bit more about Healthy Schools Campaign in a couple minutes, but first I wanted to just review some basics for today's webinar. Next slide. This is the first webinar in a series that we're holding this summer, and we're excited to be launching this series with the Learn from the Leaders webinar. We'll be hosting 4 more webinars throughout the summer, which you can register for through the greencleanschools.org website, and we are sending out a link right now that goes directly to the registration page. Next slide. And we'd also love you to join in the ongoing conversation that's taking place around these webinars. You can follow us on Twitter using this hashtag to read more questions and answers that are coming in related to these webinars, or feel free to send in more of your questions that you think of after the webinar. Next slide. Today's webinar is going to run for around an hour, and we're going to be making a recording of the webinar available online. And we will be archiving that webinar on the greencleanschools.org website, which we are sending the link out for now. And also at the end of the webinar, there will be a really quick survey just about your experience with the webinar, and we would really appreciate it if you could take the time to complete that. Next slide. We'll save 15 minutes at the end of the webinar for a question and answer session with our panelists, and you will be able to ask questions in 2 ways. You can type a question into the questions box, which is located on your control panel, which should be on the right side of your screen, and just click send. And feel free to send in those questions throughout the webinar, and we will collect them and then save them for the end and answer them at that point. You can also save your questions for the end and ask them over the phone by raising your hand during the Q&A session. To raise your hand, you can just click on the hand icon on the sidebar of your control panel, and we'll unmute you so you can ask your question live over the phone. Next slide. So today we have a great lineup of speakers. We're going to be starting with Mark Bishop, who's the VP of Policy and Communications at Healthy Schools Campaign, and we're also joined by 3 representatives from schools across the country. We have Mike Jones from Columbia Public School District, Kim Thomas from the University of Georgia Physical Plant, and Pat Pizzo from East Meadow Union Free School District. Next slide. And all of these school speakers are winners of the 2010 Green Clean Award, which is an annual award co-hosted by Healthy Schools Campaign, the Green Cleaning Network, and American School and University. And so we'd like to congratulate these winners. They've done an extraordinary job. And for anyone who is interested in applying for the 2011 Green Clean Awards, the application should be available in the next week. And we are sending out the link right now where you will be able to access that application. So we look forward to hearing from you during the Q&A session, and thanks again for joining us. Right now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague Mark Bishop, who will be providing us with a brief intro to green cleaning in today's webinar. Thanks.
Thank you, Alex. Again, my name is Mark Bishop, the Vice President of Policy and Communications at the Healthy Schools Campaign. We are a not-for-profit organization. We're now 9 years old, and we work on programs of the intersection of obesity and asthma issues in schools. So from a perspective of asthma, we work on issues that address the indoor air quality in schools and the school indoor environment. So specifically, our green cleaning work began in 2006 when we were working with Chicago Public Schools, and we were trying to help them address how to improve the indoor environment. Chicago Public Schools, as many of you may know, is the 3rd largest school district in the country, and it has over 430,000 students. So addressing a cleaning program in the school district that size is no easy task. So what it really required of us is to engage with stakeholders throughout the school, from building engineers, building operators, to parents and teachers and school administrators. And what you will hear today is you will hear many of these stories of engagement within the school community to improve the quality and the health of the cleaning programs, and that is exactly what happened in Chicago 7 years ago. From there, they asked us to create a guide on how to implement a green cleaning program, and that has become our quick and easy guide to green cleaning in schools, which I'll talk a little bit about in just a moment. In addition to our work that would start in Chicago, we do a lot of work on state policy. So we introduced and passed a law in Illinois in 2007 that requires schools to adopt green cleaning programs, and we work in states across the country to continue to encourage greater adoption of green cleaning programs from a state policy perspective, as well as working on the national level to try to increase standardization and greater adoption of green cleaning programs across the country. Our quick and easy guide to green cleaning in schools, we are currently in our third publication of this, where we have distributed about 100,000 copies across the country. This is really a piece that we've put together initially to help implement the Chicago Public Schools program, but is really our education engagement piece with school stakeholders everywhere. We really hope that parents will take this to their school board meetings to talk about the importance of green cleaning. We hope that school administrators will look at this and understand what the real value is. We also hope distributors and manufacturers will take this to help them sell and market their own green programs. In addition to our green quick and easy guide, we have our website, which includes also quarterly newsletters, promotions, speaking engagements, a webinar series. We're really trying to reach out to stakeholders where they are at to get the word out about improving cleaning programs. Also, you have to know that green cleaning is not just about us saying that it's important. We have a lot of organizations that partner with us, national organizations that work on health, education, policy, administrators group, parents groups. They all recognize the value, and we partner with them to educate their membership, and as well as make sure that everyone knows that the value of green cleaning is really across the board. We all need to get involved, and we all need to do what we can to make sure we have healthy indoor environments in our schools. So let me just give a quick overview about green cleaning before we introduce our speakers, who are really going to be talking about the nuts and bolts of how to do green cleaning in the school. So a little bit about what is green cleaning. First, a cleaning program is we clean to protect health. That's why we clean. We don't clean to have shiny floors. While they look really nice, the reality is we want to make sure that the occupants of the building, the students, the staff, they are healthy, and that's why we keep our buildings clean, because without our custodial staff, ultimately we will not have healthy occupants. Green cleaning takes that a step further and talks about without harming the environment, and the environment is both global and local. It's global in sense of reducing water and reducing energy, reducing waste, and making sure that our earth is going to be with us and that we are passing values down to our students to take care of the earth. We also look at the environment as the indoor environment and the environment that we are learning in. We need to make sure that we are creating an indoor environment that is conducive to learning and that allows a school to do what they are tasked with doing. Their goals are to educate our children, and green cleaning program ultimately helps schools achieve this task. So why do we care about green cleaning? We list 5 areas and 5 points, and by no means are these the only 5, but I like to highlight these 5. First of all, it's about helping students stay healthy and learn. We know that students lose about 14 million school days every year because of asthma-related conditions, and we know that green cleaning can be an important component of reducing exposures to asthmagens, allergens, and environmental contaminants that may contribute to greater breathing problems. So we really want to make sure that our students are healthy. We also want to make sure that our teachers are healthy so they can be in the classroom. We have continued continuity in the classroom. Second, we want to make sure we're protecting the health of our custodial staff. These are the first-line workers, the front-line workers that are dealing with the day-to-day, the chemicals that we use to clean our buildings. We want to make sure that they are healthy and they are safe. 1, because we are concerned about their health, and 2, because there's a real bottom line need to keep people, from being absent and reduce healthcare costs and make sure that we have a healthy workforce. Third, we have a responsibility to increase the lifespan of our facilities. School buildings are buildings that are built with public dollars, and they are in the public trust, and we have a responsibility to maintain these buildings and maintain them in a way that's going to keep them in our custodialship for a long period of time. We want to be using procedures and products that are going to reduce, that are not going to wear away surfaces, they're not going to wear down carpets, that are going to make sure that we are most efficiently using our resources to keep our buildings maintained. And a green cleaning program can do this. Fourth, preserving the environment. And in the school setting, there is no better place that we should be preserving the environment, A, because it has a huge impact into our society, but also because it has a huge impact onto the education and awareness of our children. And finally, we have a fiscal responsibility for green cleaning. And I think you're going to hear from the speakers loud and clear that green cleaning is not just about being green, but it's about saving green. Because ultimately, a green cleaning program, you're going to not only save in chemical costs, which are a small portion of a cleaning program, but ultimately green cleaning programs are going to help you more efficiently use your labor force and really be more effective with what we have. So having said that, I'm now going to introduce our first speaker. Before I do that, we're going to ask a quick question just to make sure the people there are paying attention. So we would love to know a little bit more about you. So we just opened up a poll, and if you guys would all take a quick answer of, do you have a green cleaning program? While that poll is open and you guys can answer yes, no, or not applicable, I will introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Michael Jones. Michael Jones is the Director of Custodial Services at Columbia Public Schools in Columbia, Missouri, where he has been there for 9 years. As a winner of the 2010 Green Cleaning Awards Best New Program, Michael has demonstrated how to start and build a successful green cleaning program in a short period of time. So for those of you who do not have green cleaning programs and want to learn more, Michael is a good testament to say that it can be done, and it can be done in a pretty short period of time and done effectively. All right, I'm going to ask that we close the poll and see what they have and share the information. And it looks like 34% of the attendees have programs, 24 do not, 42% not applicable. So for the quarter of you out there that do not have programs, I'm very excited that we have Michael now here with us. So let's stop that. And Michael Jones is our first presenter. And Michael, if you will take over the floor now.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the audience here today to listen about our success here in Columbia, Missouri about our green cleaning programs. Beginning in 2008, we evaluated our existing cost of products and cleaning programs as to whether we were effective in maximizing our efforts in maintaining the cleanliness of our buildings. Identifying waste, duplication, ineffective products was our focus. After identifying issues, we felt major changes were needed. At the time, we had only one green cleaning product and basically no green cleaning programs. In January 2009, we adopted the Missouri Green Cleaning Guidelines and Specifications through schools, which was the Missouri Green Law, and utilized the voluntary guidelines as a blueprint to implement changes. We set a program to make changes starting with the most obvious and simple issues that gave us the greatest savings in products and programs. Testing of new green products and cleaning procedures in our building, working with green vendors, internet research, and networking with districts was key to help us make the necessary decisions to begin our new program. Training of our custodial staff on new products and programs was a major key to our success. I felt it was interesting that this was not a major issue with our staff, and many of our custodians welcomed these changes and felt it made their job easier. Gauging the results is important and was a combination of testing products, identifying savings of new green products from previous non-green, continual feedback from our staff, and ATT meter testing. Next slide. Towels, tissue, and soap was our first focus due to the issues of 10-plus-year-old towel dispensers constantly jamming, small tabs on the floor, students not able to pull the paper product to clean their hands. We were using cheap brown towels that did not absorb, and it was not green. Non-green liquid soap was laying on the floors, being tracked in the halls. Puddles in the sinks, creating waste, cleaning, and liability issues, as well as damaging our countertops in many of our classrooms. When identifying and addressing these issues, many other situations came to light that were easily identified, and the green program just took on a mind of its own as we started with other changes. Next slide. As we continued to work on replacing other traditional non-green products and cleaning programs, risk management issues were brought to light during a green audit of a facility. Using this audit and the Missouri Green Cleaning Guidelines for schools, we identified the exposures our students and staff were subject to, one of them being household items being brought in by staff. Another situation was inherent on the opportunity for slip and fall risk by students and staff, creating exposure to our district as a result. This is a teamwork issue that can be resolved if identified. If the custodial worker is spending precious time on these risk management issues, then proper sanitization of worktops is being neglected. This is where the students and staff must be engaged and involved in the solution once the true issues of risk management are recognized by administration. Next slide. Proper tools are always the key part of the puzzle. When the mindset of cleaning for health changed our cleaning goal, we identified there were improper tools in place that required our attention, required us to replace those tools that were not that did not properly clean, and training in order to achieve these new goals. Next slide, please. When cross-contamination points are identified, the program can then set a schedule for these surfaces to be sanitized and individuals' health protected. Assisting in keeping students and staff in school and at work through our custodial services is a key role we play. We recognize in Columbia our department has a direct health impact on nearly 1/3 of our community as a result of individuals that use our facilities every day. We established a new program of cleaning our most touched surfaces as often as possible during the day and evening. Priority must be established for the highest risk surfaces first. These surfaces include in order: doorknobs, handles, push plates, handrails, drinking fountains, desktops, and tabletops. Next slide, please. We track our district attendance percentages by location and helps us gauge if cleaning issues need to be addressed. School districts receive higher percentage of funding or a bigger slice of state funds when kids come to school and high attendance rates are achieved. Clean for Health puts this first before appearance. We had a school spending several years ago countless hours each week burnishing their floors because this was a priority of the building principal, but student desks and tables were being neglected. This change of mindset has an impact on members of our community that use our facilities constantly. The health services of your district can help with the reinforcement of this issue, assisting the administration and the district to take possession of the program in order to achieve successful results. Next slide, please. This change was a no-brainer. We had 33 plus cleaning chemicals, including floor products, and only one was green. We tested 3 vendors' green products in numerous buildings for a period of 3 months, evaluated results, and placed on public bid. We have eliminated the unnecessary duplication of cleaning products, eliminated confusion amongst custodial staff, simplified training and management while moving towards a complete green program. All of this was done while creating over a 20% reduction in cost. Next slide, please. This is a team effort by this is a team effort by the faculty and students at this elementary school, where the end of the day announcement include a reminder for chairs to be stacked, worktops to be free of debris, and floors to be picked up. This facilitates the sanitization of worktops and increased performance of custodial staff, as well as overall quality of service. This is the condition of the classrooms in this building before our staff enters to clean. Next slide, please. Dwell time and physical removal of soils is key. Our staff is trained to spray our most touched surfaces in classrooms at the start of cleaning, continuing other cleaning duties as we achieve our sanitizer dwell time. Classroom doorknobs are cleaned last as the custodian exits the room. Next slide, please. When proper dwell time has been achieved, we use only color-coded microfiber products to remove the physical soils on our surfaces. Next slide, please. Using green products requires a different way of thinking and methodologies. We did not understand green products or programs and needed outside training sources or green vendors to help change our mindset. We have assessed this training and are using this knowledge and information to better our awareness and increase our capabilities while using our same operational budget that we have been given, and we've had the same operational budget for the past 3 years. Next slide, please. Upgrading the district to new dispensers, better quality, and green product created a savings over 20% of just these items. This savings allowed us to address other issues which included replacing rusted, dented, sharp metal trash cans with updated new waste receptacles in many of our buildings. Next slide, please. One green cleaning chemical is utilized by our staff that cleans the majority of surfaces. Utilizing 1-gallon spray pumps, we are able to quickly pre-spray our surfaces, allow proper dwell time, and have more time to spend physically removing the soils. Next slide. Over the past 2 years, we have eliminated all cloth and disposable rags, cotton dust mops with mop oil, and old dust mop equipment. Our new microfiber rags, looped pile microfiber dust mops, and new equipment are all above average to the best products on the market. Although there are several types of microfiber products on the market, our testing of these products led us to purchase higher quality products that work and help our staff better clean our facilities. Changing to microfiber cleaning systems immediately created savings during the first year. These savings have been used to absorb our microfiber dust mops and equipment costs. Next slide, please. We set up a 2-year program to eliminate our single wet mop buckets and traditional spring mops. Our existing double bucket system allows the soiled mop heads to be constantly rinsed. Clean mop solution is applied to the floor surface, and quality microfiber loop flat mops clean and remove the soils. The biggest benefit is the fact that we are finding a reduction of our floor cleaner consumption of around 35%. Next slide. We are on a 5-year stripping program, and about 25% of our district floors have green finish that does not contain the metals and higher VOCs. We have found that our green floor finish has held up very well and have seen no difference between our previous traditional finish to our new green product. All floor finish is applied by pouring directly onto the floor and spreading in thin, even coats with a flat finish mop, which reduces waste and cleanup of traditional mop buckets and string mops. Next slide, please. We utilize 4 color-coded microfiber cleaning rags to eliminate cross-contamination. We effectively sanitize our high-touch points first during each day and night shifts. Many of these surfaces receive additional protection through our use of a shielding product used according to our priority schedule. Next slide, please. The measure of our new program, training, improved systems through product and equipment, has been evident by comments from staff, students, visitors, district attendance rates, and individual building support. Support from the school board has been shown as we have made several presentations for them showing the facts of that our green cleaning program works. Other measurable results have come in the form of public awareness as a result of recognition outside our immediate community. Next slide. Our new green cleaning products and programs have kept absenteeism rates low in cleaner schools. The EPA National Great Start Award is a new program now in effect to continue our district effort to improve our indoor air quality, energy savings, and to address other issues. Next slide, please. Our decision to change our mindset, understand and accept green products and programs has been extremely rewarding to me personally to better the health of our buildings and a healthier environment for the students, district staff, and visitors of our facilities. Again, I want to thank the audience for listening and what we have done here in Columbia, Missouri. And that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike, for your presentation. What's so exciting for me is to see a school making so much change making such a difference in such a short period of time, which really speaks to how really anyone can get started and really make a big change very quickly. So thank you, and I look forward to taking questions on your presentation. So before we go to the next speaker, I want to take an additional poll. So I want to ask another quick question. This is a pretty easy one, but who are you? We're really curious about who is here, and so we all know. So we have a couple of options. Take a few minutes just to let us know who you are. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Kimberly Thomas. Kimberly has been with the University of Georgia for nearly 20 years in higher education, administrative, and management positions. She has been with the University of Georgia Physical Plant Services Department for 3 years in the position of Assistant Director. We should also have to mention that she is also the Green Cleaning 2010 Award winner for universities, and we are excited to have her here today with us. I'm going to ask for 5 more seconds if you haven't voted. Let me do a quick close. Close. Now, who is here? 13% school administrators, custodial staff, manufacturers, and distributors. It looks like there are a lot of others there, so we look forward to reaching out to you and finding out who you are. So we have a pretty diverse crowd. Regrettably, our poll only allows 5 options, so we shouldn't ask for more. But thank you for doing that. Now, let me go to our next speaker, Kimberly Thomas. Kimberly, I am going to be giving the virtual gavel over to you. Kimberly.
Okay, thanks, Mark. I really appreciate it, and also want to thank you for inviting me to serve on this distinguished panel. Hopefully offer a couple of suggestions and just kind of share the input of what we have been able to enjoy as successes at the University of Georgia. So what we're going to really focus on in my portion is talking about how we have been successful in engaging the workforce and our campus community around our green cleaning program, rallying, kind of the sustainability work right throughout the campus, and really talking about how we have been able to form partnerships from the students, our faculty and staff, and certainly our own employees. So next slide. The University of Georgia program is really focused on a couple of key foundations for the program. Indoor air quality, certainly, which has kind of been talked about, Mark, in your earlier discussion about, why and how important a green cleaning program is. We also focused on chemical inventory control, kind of gauging where we were so we could kind of put a plan together, come up with a vision and a mission of how we could implement some successful changes. Looking at green purchasing contracts, certainly trying to figure out how do you get past the hurdle of procurement in a state agency and how we can hopefully offer some suggestions on what's worked for us. Ergonomic equipment, trying to provide our employees with the best possible tools for their safety as well as helping everyone out. Worker safety and training, looking at what we can do to make sure safety is always first and foremost in all of our employees' minds. And certainly making sure that we have adequate training programs to help them do the best job that they can. Stakeholder and customer input, making sure that our customers, and we consider our customers our faculty and staff and our students, making sure they understood what the program was about and how they could provide great input to us and we could have a shared partnership. And then looking at having measurable results. How can you determine what successful really is for your program? How can you make changes based on those results? And how can you move forward? And then last but not least is coming up with a marketing strategy that really puts the word out there of what you're really trying to do throughout the campus and making sure that we're on the right target. Next slide. Okay, so the big key is how do you get in front of this large ship that we kind of at UGA has called our Physical Plant Building Services Office. And I know a lot of people have the term custodians. We use building service workers here. So this is just a matter of semantics. So if you hear me going back and forth, just know that that is our great staff that we're talking about. So how do we get the vision? I've been at the physical plant for about 3.5 years now, and certainly our issue with cleaning chemical inventory, trying to work safely, have been things that have already been well talked about. We had some great direction and leadership by my director, who kind of started a pilot program before I even came aboard as part of a renovation of one of the oldest buildings on our campus. And with the University of Georgia being kind of the flagship institution for the state of Georgia, as well as one of the first, was the first, land grant institution in the United States, we took a lot of pride in how can we kind of implement a green program. Old College was part of a 200-year renovation, and the thought was made, well, let's start with the oldest building on this campus as part of its kind of a birthday present. So we started our pilot program in Old College. First, we talked with the faculty and staff and the dean of that area and just kind of introduced what the idea was. Got a lot of successful input from that staff as well as the employees. And I kind of jokingly say that Brenda Gresham, the African-American lady in this picture, is our poster child for our green cleaning program because she was the very first employee. And Miss Brenda had many respiratory problems, asthma, and she's told me I can share the story. So she was a little bit skeptical. And over the time that we implemented taking out the traditional cleaning products and introducing 3 daily cleaners, which were all green products, over time she was kind of our ardent supporter, and she's often told us she would retire on the spot if we ever took her out of her building since we've converted to green cleaning products. So part of that vision was getting the input from the faculty and staff and from our employees. Team is us. We kind of use that jokingly to kind of say that our vision has to include the input of what we all do. Some of the best ideas that we've received over the years in moving our program forward has came from the employees. WSNH. That's kind of a funny acronym for we want to work smart, not harder. And that was kind of a key thing in trying to get the employee support for the program. There was a lot of skeptics at first. And I'm sure some of you who do have green cleaning programs at your institutions can kind of share in that sometimes it can be a hard thing to try to change mindsets. So what we really had to do is come up with an idea. How do we get the employees on board? We know that the products will be safer. We got to make sure that we provide adequate training, and also make sure that they understand that our job isn't to make them work harder, that we want effective green products, effective green tools, things that are going to help them do a great job. SSS, safety, safety, safety. We'll have some numbers in a short while to kind of show what we have done as far as reducing our lost work hours or on-the-job accidents and hazards, because we want to ensure that we have a safe workplace for ourselves as well as the campus community. And that certainly has a long way to gauging where we want it to be with our program and why we think we've been successful, because we have been able to reduce our on-the-job accident and injury. Finally, service is what we do. We want to ensure that our customers and employees have a voice. We actually have inhabitants meetings with all of the building contacts for each building, our building supervisor, as well as what we affectionately call our green team, and that's our key members from the physical plant administration, which includes our safety coordinator, our superintendent of services. We also have had a wonderful partnership with a local OSHA outreach trainer who's helped us devise our green cleaning program, as well as our 2 training specialists. And we work with those building inhabitants to kind of share what the program is about, show them actually how the products work, and give them samples of the product, and just really go over what is our cleaning plan for their building. We've had student focus groups where we worked with students in our PR department and marketing classes. We have one of the greatest departments of journalism on campus, and it was really kind of a year-long class project where they helped us come up with some marketing strategies, talked about different marketing plans to get the word out, what would students like to see in a green cleaning program, how they could actively be involved. We've also challenged our employees. We have toolbox talks, and we talk about different features of the program, how we can continue to be safe, work safely, and we have continuous worker safety meetings. Next slide. In the indoor air quality focus, one of the key things here, and Mark has kind of touched on all of the important issues, but I just kind of want to also focus. One of the challenges that we had, and we had to have a lot of dialogue with our faculty and staff, and helping them to understand the importance of why we wanted to reduce the volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, inside of our buildings. One of the major issues we had was with aerosol sprays. As a program focus, we removed all sprays from all of our public restrooms, and we had a huge uproar. But one of the things in our inhabitants meetings that we talk about is we are cleaning for the #1 priority of workplace safety and health. And so we kind of share some information about why we didn't want to mask malodors. We wanted to be able to be on the front end and attack those problems, not hide things with sprays, and talked about how having to reduce those VOCs in the form of sprays left in public restrooms were of benefit to all of the people who use that building, whether they were the faculty, staff, the students, or the visitors. And we wanted their partnership. And so after we kind of explained what our rationale was, and they understood what our cleaning plan was for their facility, we have actually been able to turn some of those negative perceptions around. A key thing also was, how do we implement a plan of action to convert the cleaning products that we already had on campus? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But we had to come up with a plan. We decided that some of the products were, in our minds, hazardous. So how do we get rid of those hazardous products, and how do we have a functioning plan based on business principles to eliminate that? How do we get to a better place, in other words? And so we had one idea. We set up a chemical exchange program, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Next slide, please. Worker safety, we've talked about having a comprehensive training program, which is one of the foundations for why we think we've been successful. We have a mandatory 2-week Building Service Worker Academy, where we actually provide the first week of classroom training about all of the products, all of the tools, all of the procedures that we want our building service workers to use out in the field. And then the second week is hands-on practical exercises with their tools, with all of the products that they will use in their building. And we've had a lot of success and feedback from the staff from this program, and we actually award certificates at the end of that program. Next slide. Chemical inventory control. And this is the part where we kind of had to come up with a really good plan on what do. We removed over 800 different, as we termed, hazardous products from our cleaning inventory. And this is from our own physical plant warehouse, as well as out in the field and all of our custodial closets. And then we inputted in dilution control systems, microfiber cleaning tools. We also use ionized water applicators. And so we've really worked hard to try to make sure that our employees are working safe and have the safest and some of the most sustainable tools to work with on a daily basis. Next slide. Ergonomic equipment, of course, wanted to make sure that our employees are using the proper procedures in how they actually handle the products that they use every day to reduce slips and falls, accidents, things where we sometimes can kind of frame where the kind of distracted employee syndrome, and just making sure they're very conscious of how they're working and giving them the tools so that they can work safely on a daily basis. Next slide. Community partnerships is a key thing, and here we talked about where we worked with public relations classes. We also had some focus groups of our own with our own employees, and we even designed a logo that has a green cleaning tool as part of how we kind of brand our department for our green cleaning program, and making sure that we share all of our successes and include our customers, our faculty and staff, and key contacts so that they know that we are professional and we're working with their safety and with their health in mind. Next slide. A couple of just quick numbers as far as our measurable results, and we kind of talked about here where we have shown a dramatic reduction in our injuries, and one of those factors certainly has came into play because of our training program, where we have worked very hard to make sure that we are keeping safety on the forefront and making sure that all of our employees are partners to each other. If they see other employees not working safe, you know, we say, hey, this is your partner, this is a team. We have to all work safely. Next slide. A key component of any business, certainly looking at your lost work hour numbers, and how do we keep these numbers down? One key thing has been with the reduction of some of the more hazardous chemicals, and now just working with green products and working with mostly water and a lot of our floor applications, and certainly using Green Seal certified floor maintenance products has really helped us to keep our folks healthy and keep them at work. Next slide. And of course, as any fiscal foundation, with all of the tightening of the purse strings across all of our state institutions, we have to show where this green cleaning program certainly has a root in effective business process and how we have been able to save the university money, and that we have reinvested those cost savings back into being able to purchase greener tools, greener equipment to keep our program moving forward. Next slide. And you see a couple of our process changes here where we have awarded 300 certificates from our BSW Academy. We have our customers do quality inspections or building inspections to make sure that they understand what a clean building, what a healthy building is for us and for them. Making sure that our employees understand what their role is in the process, and keeping that open line of communication between the employees and the customers. Next slide. And then here you see a couple of our achievements, and certainly we are so proud that our employees, they kind of have a feeling that they can walk around with a Superman or a Superwoman S stamped on their chest. And I think our green cleaning program has went a long way to ensuring that they know that they're true professionals at what they do, that no one can walk in to these jobs off the street and be able to understand, you know, what impact they have on public safety, public health, and in our campus environment. And I think more importantly, our customers feel that our employees have their health in mind as they do the work that they do every day. Next slide. So with that ends my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kim. One of the things that I think is so exciting is that you won the honorable mention twice before you won the grand award. And it just shows that the continual improvement that you've shown, especially in an environment that every year these awards are getting more and more competitive. So I'd like to now introduce our next speaker. Before I do, I am going to have one last quick poll question. So I would love to hear from everyone. Real quick, what do you see as the biggest barrier to green cleaning programs? And in the meantime, I'll do a quick introduction of Pat. Pat Pizzo is currently the Director of Facilities and Operations for the East Meadow School District. Since 2008, he has led a department of 117 people in supporting the goals of his district and has been a champion for green cleaning. He is the 2010 award winner for K-12 schools, and we are excited to have him here. We're going to have 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and it's still changing. People are still entering, and it's closed. And we would like to say it looks like the biggest challenges that are viewed are transitional challenges, followed by training, followed by costs, which I might say are perceived cost issues. And I think Pat is a great person to follow up that on because Pat has experience showing looking at dealing with transitions and looking at training and, most importantly, really looking at costs of green cleaning programs. So, Pat, I would ask to, again, virtually hand the gavel over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'll be completing a presentation on continual improvement for your green cleaning program. If we can go to the next slide, please. Okay, ultimately, my role is not as important as the way our program has been implemented. We have an inclusive team concept in each meadow, which is the reason for our success. Okay, here I have a picture of these are my team leaders, and we're pictured there with some of the products that we have evaluated. Next slide, please. Okay, our team concept includes total quality management approach, benchmarking successful programs, piloting products and procedures. We constantly compare new products and procedures to those already established in the program. We demand the best products from vendors, and we're always raising the bar. Next slide, please. Here's some pictures of my team leaders again. Each one of our team members is a leader in their respective buildings. Danny Plinicki is the head custodian at W.T. Clark Middle School High School, and his focus has been, as one of our team leaders, has been on piloting new products and procedures in his building. Bob Callan, our head custodian at Parkway Elementary School, he's really a detailed researcher who's done a lot of the work in evaluating products through MSDS sheets and doing the research to make sure that that products that we're going to pilot really meet our standards. Mike Ewald, the next employee who leads our efforts at the Campo Center, our administrative building, he's really outstanding in the practical application and really how these products work and how our employees are able to use these products, how user-friendly they are. Next slide, please. We believe that people often have misconceptions on what green cleaning means. This is our view of what green cleaning is about. Of course, it's about doing your part for the earth while simultaneously enhancing your environment, a comprehensive approach to green cleaning and sustainable methods, products that operate more effectively and more efficiently, strategic management of life cycle and total cost structures, and always looking to improve. New innovations are out there which can advance your program. Next slide, please. We believe the scope of a green cleaning program should include a wider focus. Green cleaning products are only the beginning. Procedures which eliminate the need for chemicals. Some of these are diamond pads, square pad scrubbers, ionized water cleaning, recycling, closed loop purchasing, efficiency with exterior LED lighting. Next slide, please. Okay, and why are these approaches important? Here are some of the procedures and products which capture savings through reduced product costs and increased productivity. Diamond pads, again, they eliminate the use of stripper, sealer, and wax. So you're getting all those chemicals and the cost involved with them out of your environment. Ionized water replaces cleaning chemicals, so there's an upfront cost, but it's quickly recaptured by the reduced chemical cost. Square pad scrubbers, this is something we've been using for a year now. These scrubbers eliminate the use of stripper for wax removal. There's also even more recent than this is a pad, we call it a maroon pad, that eliminates the use of stripper. Stripper is something you want to do everything you can to eliminate that from your environment. If we could have the next slide, please. Okay, we need to think differently. One of the questions I often ask is LED lighting part of a green cleaning program? And my answer to this is yes. The reason why is LED lights reduce consumption, so you're going to be able to capture savings on your utility costs. Exterior LED lights also reduce labor, as they last 10 times longer than conventional exterior lighting. Some of these numbers are 78% in efficiency savings, payback period of less than 10 months, and instead of servicing these lights every couple of years, these products, once they're in place, installed correctly, can last as long as 13.5 years. So reduced consumption, labor, and materials that end up in the waste stream all should be considered when evaluating a green program. Next slide, please. Okay, compliance with existing mandated standards is not enough. Okay, we're not satisfied with mere compliance. The district has a comprehensive approach. Our Green Cleaning Committee put together a format for a core district-wide program. But that core is constantly evaluated and improved to move our program forward. Next slide, please. Okay, we can always learn and improve. We, as much as we're proud of our existing program, we want it to be better tomorrow than it is today. We look at best practices both within and outside of our district. We visit other districts to gain insights, and we'll use best practices from outside of the district as well if we can identify someone who's maybe done something that we hadn't tried yet. Okay, we implement our best practices district-wide upon the recommendations of our committee. Next slide, please. Okay, we're always trying to find a better way. The committee studies our findings, and we research new information. We're always looking to bring in guest speakers from reputable companies to meet with our head custodians to try to see if there's other things that we should explore. Pilot programs of interesting products follow up new things that are brought forward by these vendors. Next slide, please. Okay, focus on innovation changed our relationship with vendors seeking to do business with our district. As our methods became known, companies began to approach us and request to be booked as guest speakers. Competition between vendors resulted in better products being identified, and competition bent the cost curve. Next slide, please. Okay, this is our path to perpetual improvement. Multiple training opportunities for custodial staff, preventative maintenance for all building systems and equipment to raise air quality and lower fuel consumption. Inclusion of students in paper and plastic bottle recycling programs. This increased participation by all helps for your program to be accepted. Next slide, please. Okay, we continue to improve our process through bio-based cleaning supplies, steam cleaners that again further reduce the need for chemicals. Ionized water cleaning. We now have a program where we have scrubbers that use ionized water as well as the spray cleaners that a lot of people are familiar with. Microfiber mops is also a great way to replace chemically treated dust mops, and multicolor different types of cleaning cloths, which would identify which area which you would use, and being able to reuse these products, re-clean, is also another cost savings. Next slide, please. Okay, we consider the product's life cycle. Paper towels and toilet paper constructed of recycled materials in conjunction with dispensers designed to reduce product waste. Green certified hand soap, touch-free dispensers we also do to cut down on the transmission of germs. And recycled batteries. We've actually identified recycled batteries, which are a closed-loop purchasing. So we're they don't contain some of the metals in conventional batteries, but at the same time, at the end of their useful life, it's you're given prepaid shipping packages where you could then send them back. The batteries also, through our tests are as effective as traditional batteries. Next slide, please. Okay, there's always a focus on improvement. Green certified floor waxes, which eliminate the use of styrene and reduce labor. Traditional wax products contain styrene, which is something that should be avoided in the school setting. Diamond pads, which eliminate the need for wax on terrazzo floors. The square pad scrubbers, again, and low VOC products for gym floor finishing and painting. We have a program where we only use low VOC paints for use in the school, and the water-based polyurethane is a low VOC product for our gyms and other areas that are polyurethane. Next slide, please. Okay, we have a wide view of our impact on the environment. Replacement of conventional lubricants with synthetic, non-hazardous food-grade lubricants, recycling of e-waste, computers, monitors, batteries, biodegradable plastic bags is a pilot that we've worked on, and soy-based stainless steel cleaning products that we use. Next slide, please. Ultimately, a program will only succeed with the collaboration of all stakeholders, students, parents, teachers, administrators, and a committed and dedicated team. A leader is only as successful as the team's collective effort and ability. As you see here, we have Joe Torre. I don't know if people remember when he was first hired, he wasn't looked at in the same light that he is today. Because you'll only be recognized as a great leader when you lead a great team. Next slide, please. And it was all about my team. So my thanks goes to my team and their great efforts to make our program a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much, Pat. Just a few quick things. First of all, for all the schools out there or all the schools that you may know out there, please go ahead and in about 2 weeks when we release our Green Cleaning Award application, check it out, and we look forward to having new schools who are working to improve their cleaning programs and recognize them, so please get involved. We are running a little late. I believe it's already been about an hour. We are going to just take a few questions. If people have to leave, we understand. But let's just do, since we have a couple of questions, let's just go with them. I'm going to hand it over to Alex, and we will ask a few before we wrap it up.
Great, thanks, Mark. So our first question is one for Kim. What may have been some challenges or positives from your employees or campus staff members on switching to green cleaning products and changing your cleaning procedures?
I think just kind of quickly, one positive was we really had a lot of support from the student groups on campus, and once we kind of put the word out of what we were trying to do with our green cleaning program, and had a lot of good input also from the various focus groups that the kids worked out with our employees to do throughout the campus. So in so much as they actually instituted a tax on themselves. They actually started a green fee, which led to the Office of Sustainability at UGA. And so we are very proud that some of the sustainably focused folks around campus, as well as our faculty and staff, were able to push forward to get the Office of Sustainability on our campus. And some of the other challenges we kind of mentioned as far as changing mindset, but with information, with training, hands-on practical exercises along with the academy, we've been able to overcome that, and now everybody's on board.
Great, thanks. That's fantastic. And then we have another one from our audience. What methodology have you used to measure IAQ, so indoor air quality, and what impact has green cleaning had on indoor air quality? So any of our panelists can feel free to answer that question.
Would any of our panelists like to take a stab?
Yeah, I could take. I could speak to that a little bit.
I could follow up also.
Yeah, what I would say with that is you have to have a focus on low VOC products, and that's the reason why when I mentioned a little bit about the polyurethane using the water base, also with going to a green wax, which is a lower VOC. The microfiber products is excellent because that helps keep the dust down, and a effective preventative maintenance program, changing filters on a regular schedule, keeping track of that so you could quantify just how the time frames of the filter changes, and that's really that would really be the basis of the start for managing indoor air quality.
Great, thanks. And Mike, did you say you wanted to add to that as well?
Yeah, and it's kind of one of the things we look at is our attendance rates. And if we've got a building that's dropping below, do we have an issue with our furnace filters in there or something creating that issue? We had one just recently. They got air conditioning. The teachers were opening up all the doors to the outside air, and that was creating people with asthma issues. We also have a district indoor air quality person that we just hired that actually goes around and he goes around and does air quality monitoring on a regular basis throughout all district buildings, which has been a really help and a key for our district keeping track of indoor air quality issues.
Fantastic, thanks. And now we actually have somebody has raised their hand, so we're going to go ahead and unmute them. David Shore, go ahead and ask your question. David?
Yes. Have you had any experience where a green product was not proven to be as effective in cleaning as the traditional products? And have you ever had to retreat back to the traditional product?
Oh, could I answer that?
I could follow up. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah. Well, this is the reason why you need to really have a team, and you need to evaluate products. Not every product that you try that claims to be green is going to be effective or really truly be green. You really need to investigate a product just to make sure it truly is green. So while we've investigated multiple green products, some of which claim to be green that we won't agree with that assessment based on the research we will do, and that's one of the things Bob Callan does. We will shift to another green product, but there's no reason to step back. There's plenty of effective products, but like anything else, that not every product is going to be effective, and not every product is going to meet the claims on the label. If you look deeper, there are products out there. There's never a reason to step back, in my opinion.
Fantastic. And did anybody else want to add something to that?
No, I'll just add, I said in my presentation, we tested 3 different vendors, cleaning chemicals, green chemicals, and I did a lot of research on that before I even chose the 3 vendors. And I'm not going to say who the vendors were, but we had one vendor's green cleaning products. The custodians hated the glass cleaner, didn't work. Well, that limited that. So there are very good quality green products out there. You just have to find the right ones that work for you. And just like Pat said, have your team test them. Let your custodians tell you what works and what doesn't.
Great, thanks. And we have another question. You've mentioned ionized water, steam cleaning, and bio-based cleaners, but what do you do about areas that require bleach?
We don't use bleach at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I would also like to say that there's as for the cleaning of the schools, there's not a reason to use bleach. There are alternative disinfectants that not only can do what bleach does, but will do a much more effective job than bleach. Bleach is actually not appropriate for a school setting, in my opinion, in any application on the cleaning end.
Mm-hmm. So would you share what some of those alternatives are?
Oh, you can use you could use any kind of disinfectant. There are what you would do with our schedule. We have a list of products from least aggressive to most aggressive. We will have on the more aggressive side, we'll have products that are actual disinfectants. One that's excellent is Pure Green 24, and that's a product that's very safe, and it's going to do a lot better of a job than bleach, which is a phenol, which also contains clot-based cleaners as well, which has a whole host of problems. So there are products, such as Pure Green, and there are products that are stronger than that, but they should only be used for blood spill type areas. The peroxide-based cleaners that you use for general cleaning at the stronger setting, that'll actually keep the level of germs down as well, and that you could use on a regular basis. So you really have to go along the scale based on what you need to do. You can't just use the strongest cleaner for every job. You really have to have a couple of step process to really identify. You wouldn't use the same product on a blood spill as you would for daily cleaning.
Great, thanks for that. That's really helpful. And then we're going to take one last question. And the question is, what's been the biggest expense, or have there been any budget-busting items when you converted to a green cleaning program that we should all be aware of?
Okay, if I could answer that, please.
Sure.
What we found is that when you look at green cleaning through a balanced approach, that costs will actually go down. When you do a switch over with the new process, you may have some labor up front, but the savings that you recapture will far outstrip the amount of money you have to put forward for the additional labor. So I noticed that Mike had said with the, I believe it was Mike said with the multi-step program, if you go section by section, you could then mitigate the labor costs up front as you make a conversion if that is an issue. But as you'll see, you capture savings. For instance, diamond pads without those chemicals, and also once you use a diamond pad on a terrazzo floor, that floor will not need to be buffed on a weekly basis like what happens with wax. It'll actually last, depending on the application, from weeks to months between buffing with just regular cleaning. You don't need to do that buffing. So you can see with the cost of buffing a building, the amount of time you would spend on, say, an 80,000 square foot building, not having to complete that task on a weekly basis, it's a phenomenal savings when it comes to labor. All these other things with the square pad scrubber eliminating wax, and the green wax procedure, which once you set up the program actually decreases cost because you use the, without styrene, the wax won't yellow, and the base coat remains a sealer, and you actually then capture savings going forward in your program in the years after your initial application. So there's many things that can be done to save costs, and there's very few challenges in regard to increased costs.
Yeah, and just kind of quickly on kind of what we did, we also had a phase-in with our green cleaning conversion as well. We couldn't go in and convert over nearly 300 buildings all at the same time. So we had a planned process throughout the campus where we started with maybe 10 buildings or so at a time, eliminated the products, put in dilution control systems, took out all the ready-to-use products, and implemented the tools and the products that we wanted to use, and we moved ourselves across the campus. And that way you don't have to feel you got to take all of your traditional products out or all of your older equipment out and totally screw up your budget to get in the products and the equipment that you need. It has to be a smart business management process that you plan starting in baby steps and then moving forward.
Wonderful. We're going to take that as our last comment and our last question. I really appreciate the extra time that people have spent with us. It seems that most of our attendees are sticking with us and listening to our Q&A, so we're really happy to see that. I would say if there are additional questions, you feel free to contact us on Twitter, as shown with the hashtag GreenClean2011, or go to our website, and then you can reach us through the email. We would also, I would also like to know that you'd all to know that by the end of the week, this webinar, a recording of this webinar, along with all the slides, will be available for download. We will tell everybody when that is available on the web. So don't worry, you will be able to share and revisit many times over and share with all your friends and families this webinar. Again, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to you joining us at our next webinar in 2 weeks about infection control. Thank you so much.